A warm welcome back to your latest industry developments. Today there is coverage on Australian airline JETSTAR making some rapid leaps in terms of international expansion. The 787 re-enters the headlines not in a negative manner, but for all the positives it is doing for a major Canadian carrier, and Alaska Airlines has announced another brilliant partnership with a major airline in our industry. Beginning with WestJet though, who have announced plans to serve Seoul in South Korea with their Boeing 787 from Calgary in 2024. Incheon Airport will welcome WestJet's Boeing 787 on a thrice-weekly service starting May 17, 2024. WestJet says departure will occur from Calgary towards the later point of the afternoon, with arrival one day later in the evening. Despite the announcement, WestJet is very careful to say that these schedules are still subject to change. This follows the ongoing process of obtaining approval from not just the Canadian government, but also that of the South Korean one. Once approval for the service commencing in 2024 can be obtained, the airline goes on to say that these flights will be available to book. Aside from focusing on passenger operations, which is always going to be the primary factor of consideration when we do see a new route launched and the benefits it will have, WestJet says that the direct connection also presents many opportunities for its cargo division, which it has been working diligently to grow over time. Facilitating connections between businesses and markets across continents is hugely important, and this service will present more efficient and dependable solutions. Adding Seoul to the route network from Calgary is actually part of WestJet's broader strategy to continue growing international service from the western part of Canada. Seoul acts as the next critical piece in the jigsaw puzzle, if you will. That's all last summer, WestJet introduced a service between Calgary and Tokyo's Narita International Airport. WestJet intends to substantially strengthen service across the Pacific and provide more options than ever to crucial markets within Asia from Alberta. And taking delivery of the 787 has substantially aided the airline in committing to these long-haul routes with suitable levels of capacity offered. It highlights the fantastic capabilities that the 787 does harbour. Moving on to the next story of today, and it is an airline partnership. Doesn't it feel like seemingly every week a new partnership is signed? Well, following the global pandemic, I'd argue the desire to do such a thing has been increased tenfold. Alaska Airlines has welcomed none other than Porter Airlines as a new global partner for its airline. Porter Airlines is, as you may recall, a growing Canadian airline that has been utilising the Embraer E195-E2s to really expand its network. And in the past 6 months, this expansion has been nothing short of rapid, aggressive, and substantial. Through a partnership between the two companies, Porter Airlines will act as Alaska's 30th global airline partner. The pair have arguably both been, as I said, in expansion modes, whether that is with route or, in the case of Alaska Airlines, the acquisition of other companies. Porter Airlines' upcoming Toronto to Los Angeles and San Francisco flights are set to launch in January. Alaska Airlines says that customers can book these flights on their own website as part of the service launch and collaborative efforts. Additionally, this will extend towards booking flights connecting on Alaska across the West Coast network, leveraging substantially Alaska's reach into Canada, but also for Porter's customers, allowing for onward travel. Further, for those Porter flights that are booked on Alaska Airlines website and say the customer is a mileage plan member, well, they'll earn 100% of the miles flown and 100% elite qualifying miles. Alaska Airlines really also mentions the usage of Embraer at Porter Airlines, as I briefly touched on at the beginning of this segment, as another reason why a deal was appealing. Porter's E-Jet operations share similarities with Alaska's regional carrier Horizon Air and other critical partner SkyWest, who do use these E-Jets for services right across the country. The lack of a middle seat in a 2x2 configuration has made flying Embraer increasingly popular today. Through the newest generation of aircraft being made available, they've become very popular for some airlines. And I know I don't get too much into my opinion here, as I like to remain as objective as possible, but from a standpoint of having never flown on an Embraer aircraft until about 12 months ago, I was very surprised at just how comfortable the product was, and can certainly see why it has become such a popular aircraft for people to choose to fly on and for airlines to commit to in terms of regional or cross-country operations. Alaska also cites the implementation of Porter Reserve, which allows travelers to book an all-inclusive economy experience, and as part of this additional fee, if you will, customers can check in 2 bags, visit their dedicated check-in line, get priority boarding, extra legroom, and honestly a host of other benefits. A deal with Porter Airlines has seen Alaska Airlines not slow down in any manner, it must be said, with last week's shock purchase of Hawaiian Airlines being revealed, just one of the many pieces in the latest Alaska Airlines jigsaw puzzle that entails expansion. Through the very deal, Alaska is set to become the 5th largest airline in the United States. Additionally, their narrow-body and wide-body fleet will extend to almost 400 aircraft. Onto the final story of today, and that does indeed sit with Jetstar, who have announced major plans to boost their international schedule from Melbourne in 2024. As part of the decision, capacity will ramp up to key destinations in Asia and New Zealand. Jetstar promises to offer more low-cost fares, making travel even more affordable. From the 1st of April 2024, during the peak periods, Jetstar has announced it'll be increasing service towards New Zealand, as I touched on, utilising the A320. The airline will fly up to 13 weekly return flights from Melbourne to Auckland. This is up from the 8 previously offered. Melbourne to Christchurch will also increase up to 5 per week as demand grows to fly to the South Island. Away from service to New Zealand, the airline has also revealed it'll utilise its 7878 Dreamliner to boost flights to several Southeast Asian cities. These adjustments are slated to commence a little bit later than the New Zealand ones, on peak times from June 17, 2024. Melbourne to Singapore will move from a previous 6 weekly flights to daily, which is a fantastic milestone to be able to reach. Jetstar goes on to say that also its Melbourne to Phuket connection will see 5 return weekly flights, which is up from the previous 3. And lastly, the carrier, which as you may be aware is part of the Qantas group, will increase flying to Bangkok with 5 weekly return flights, again in a similar fashion to Phuket, up from the previous 3. Jetstar's CEO Stephanie Tully has said that Melbourne has quickly become a crucial part of the network. While it always has been, she would argue that since the pandemic that has only grown. The airline says that those from Melbourne love to travel, meaning outbound flights are always busy. However, away from outbound flights, the demand to actually travel into the city is also present. International tourists come from all corners of the globe to indulge in the culture, food, arts and sports. And on top of that, Melbourne has a massive international student population too. By adding essential services to Southeast Asian cities, they'll meet this demand and offer 100,000 new low-cost fares. In recent years, I did want to touch on, Jetstar has taken delivery of the Airbus A321neo LR. Since the first delivery, the units have arrived in numbers to help aid fleet growth. The initial order for 18 will be delivered by the end of 2024 per their latest guidance. And while yes, the aircraft has brought a substantial amount of efficiency with it, arguably one of the best things it has done for Jetstar is ease the substantial pressures that were felt on the Boeing 787. As a result, this means that more routes can be opened up, frequency increases can occur, and so much more can happen. That is going to conclude today's aviation news recap. If you have any thoughts, please do let me know down below in the comments. I really appreciate your support here on the channel. Hope you're enjoying your weekend, maybe getting in that last minute festive shopping. Take care, and I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for the latest industry recap, in which promises to be another pretty big one again.
And we'll fly.